Hey guys, I'm CinnamonToastKen and welcome back to Sakura Spirit. Sakura, whatever. And in the last episode, we learned all about our character, and then we got dragged into this world where these fox girls are, these foxy girls. We got captured by the normal people, but then these girls saved us, and they stole some panties also. Basically, everything that happened. And so, the exciting story continues. Let's see. Yep. We escape, and then here we are. And that's pretty much what happened. According to the village elder, there's supposed to be a shrine somewhere in the forest. It must be the same one I visited before I got caught up in this mess. Goodness, that sounds like a terrible situation. I know that spirits such as Sayuri enjoy playing with people, but this seems a little cruel of her. I would speak to her myself, but fox spirits are not allowed near the shrine. Huh? I thought the reason we never go there is because you get all flustered whenever Suchen's around. Shut up, Mako! I didn't realize a penny thief would get embarrassed like that. Maybe you two could show me the way to the shrine. Somehow the layout of the forest seems different from my world. Which pretty much meant that Arya's map was useless now. You do not understand. There is more to the ways of us spirits than meets the eye. Taka-kun, I will try to navigate you to the shrine, but if Sayuri does not want us there, then we will simply not get there. The only place we can navigate to directly are our homes and village. I could use gate magic, but that takes a super long time to cast, and unless I concentrate really hard, it usually just ends up taking us to some place not fun. Excuse me. I think I prefer taking the ground route, but thanks for the offer, Mako-chan, was it? That's right. Sakura, your service. Yay, my first human friend. Silly girl. Not that I doubt your navigation skills or anything, but didn't we cross this path a while ago? Oh, you're right. Why are we back here, Oni-sama? Huh? I thought you were leading the way. Wait, I think if we turn this way, cut through these trees here, we might... Ah! The girl seemingly disappeared out of sight as she stepped between the two tall trunks, only to be followed by a loud splash. I ran towards the trees and looked down to see the girl, arms flailing wildly, neck deep in slow-moving river. Ah, Oni-sama, quick, please, you have to help her, I'm begging you. I'll do whatever you want. Just please save her. I like how they really emphasize that. Help! It doesn't look that deep, you know. Don't tell me that your sister can't. She can't swim, neither of us can. Please, Takahiro-sama, please rescue my sister. I guess I don't have a choice. Smiling weakly, I pulled off my jacket and dove into the river. The cold water sending shivers down my spine as I swam towards Machiko, who, despite the lack of a strong current, was slowly disappearing under the water. Urged on by the worried shouts of Mako, I tried to reach the girl as quickly as possible. It took me a few strokes before I reached her, but by the time I grabbed a hold of her and pulled her to the water, she had almost lost consciousness. She's not breathing. I felt my stomach drop. Dreadful thoughts of what might happen if I didn't do something began to fill my mind. What in the world could I possibly do? This music, though. CPR? I don't know what that is. She's not breathing. Help her. Please save her. Oni-sama, please wake up. Okay, I need to concentrate. Can you find something to dry her off with? Right. Great. A mage without a revive spell. As if trying to still my nerves for what I was about to do, I muttered those words just before leaning in. All I could remember from my first aid training was that the patient had to be in a so-called recovery position, and then I had to blow air into their mouth and push down on their chest. Ooh, that sounds sexy, except for the dying part that she's doing right now. My heart pounded faster and faster as I looked down at the fox girl. I could feel my cheeks heating up and blush spread across my face. She's freaking dying, man. Get over yourself. This isn't a sexy moment. Clumsily, I put her into what I hoped was the right position, and slowly, I lowered myself towards her face. My lips parted. Oh, sorry. If you're this desperate for a kiss, you could have just asked. I know I'm beautiful. I'm a beautiful, exquisite creature, but pushing me into a river so you can play hero is a bit too much. Yeah, I guess it is. Sorry. It's not like that. I went in to save you. Oh ho ho ho. Why, thank you, oh valiant hero, for the rescue. I must admit, I'm not the greatest swimmer. But you know, it's often better to get permission from the maiden you rescue before you claim them as your reward, silly. They must not know what CPR is. But she seems to like it. She's like, yes. I didn't have a choice. I either claimed your lips or death would claim you instead. And a bold choice that was. Where's Mako? I hope she didn't try to save me first. She's even worse than swimming than I am. She's fine. She should be heading back here right now. In that case, I believe we have enough time. So how about it, Taka-kun? My little sister will be back in a few minutes, and I'm sure a boy like you have probably never kissed a girl before. So how about it? Want to claim this maiden's lips? Don't make me toss you back into the river. Oh, such a shame, too. I was looking forward to finding out just how sweet your lips tasted. These girls are a lot more forward than the angel girls were in the other one we did. I'm not sure I want to find out what a wet fox tastes like. Oh, I assure you, it tastes a lot better when I'm wet. For some reason, I don't think we're talking about the same thing anymore. I felt my cheeks flushing up slightly at Machiko's teasing words, and I awkwardly scratched my cheek. Anyway, at this rate, you're gonna catch cold. Then perhaps you should warm me up, Taka-kun. More importantly, we need to get you out of those soggy clothes. Oh my, Taka-kun, so bold. Please, won't you unbutton my top for me? What the heck's going on here? If you insist. My fingers shook as I reached down in the laces of her bodice. I was blushing brightly and my head was spinning as I felt my fingers touch the cloth. Before I could continue any further, I heard a whoosh behind me, and I felt something heavy impact against my body. My body toppled forwards, and I felt a nasty blow to the back of my head. Oni-sama, I brought you! Oh no, Takahiko! I could barely focus on the blonde fox girl began to fuss over me, but it was no good. Between running my butt off all day, the tsundere tyrant, the following rescue, and now the blow to my head, I felt myself slip into unconsciousness. No! We almost got the fox girl. We almost had some furry action going. Later that day, ... This music, though. Hours must have passed by. The time I finally regained consciousness, the first thing I noticed was something sort of resting against me. Is it boobies? For a moment, I wondered what it could be. Little did I know that whatever it was would soon be very much awake. Yes! Machiko! My voice caught up in my throat, easily betrayed by my surprise at seeing the fox spirit resting beside me. Of course, it didn't help that she was stark naked. Stark mean, exactly. My gaze drifted along her features. I hadn't really put a lot of thought into it until now. She really was beautiful. Now's my chance. I had been curious about something for a while now, and decided to finally get my answer. I carefully lifted my hand towards her head, my fingertips tightly caressing along a single furry ear. To my surprise, the fur felt real, confirming my theory. So, she's a real fox spirit. As I looked over the peaceful sleeping girl, it was difficult to imagine someone like her being a panty-stealing troublemaker. Up close, she looked incredibly cute, and naked at that, no less. The fact that she was lying right beside me caused my cheeks to flare up beet red in an instant. No, not again. Is she dreaming? Amused by this, I reached a hand out to poke her cheek gently, but the sound of footsteps made me reconsider. Ah! Takahiro, you're awake! Shh! Don't wake Oni-sama. She's a light sleeper and she's been super tired lately. Sure, Mako-chan. Mind explaining why your sister is sleeping next to me without clothes on? You two look super cute, all cuddled up together earlier. Oni-sama said that you told her it was important that she took her clothes off. So she took hers off, then we took yours off. After all, she tried to keep you both warm by getting under the covers and laying in the sun. However, in the end, she fell asleep. Were you watching me just now? Yep, you were both sleeping so soundly. It was super adorable. I wanted to cuddle up with you too, but Oni-sama told me off for cuddling with her in her sleep before. I think I get it. She does look rather adorable when she's sleeping like that. Let's keep it that way for now, Mako. I took a deep breath. I was about to open my mouth to say something when Mako suddenly spoke up with a smile. We brought you home, to our mansion. Oh, well, I have a mansion. We brought you to our spare room. There's a bug in here. In the room. Cause it has the best light during the day. I was only watching it for a bit, then I got bored, so I went and made some soup. Oni-sama always makes me soup when I feel bad. Do you want some? Sure. I could go for some soup, but Mako-chan, before that, I need to ask you a favor. I need you to go and get my clothes, because I'm naked here. I lifted the blanket enough to allow a shameful glance at the cause of my current predicament. He just flashed her. He just showed her some D. My face visibly took the shade of a tomato when I noticed Mako leaning over for a similar peek under the blanket. I quickly closed the gap. I think I'm going to stay under the blanket for a bit. Could you please bring me my clothes? Oh, but you might wake her up if you don't go back to sleep. Fine, if you insist, I'll go get your clothes. You're no fun, you know. I wanted to see what humans look like, but Oni-sama's forbidding me from peeking. Please just go. The girl almost skipped to the door, giggling to herself. The door slid open and she hopped outside, vanishing behind the paper screen. Once I had confirmed that Mako had left the room, I turned my gaze sideways, focusing on the back of the peaceful expression of the slumbering fox beside me. For a moment, I thought about things the two girls had been accused of. Okay, so stealing underwear is exactly the nicest thing to do, but when I look at her like this, I can't picture her as anything but a normal girl. While the temptation to lift the blanket was strong, I felt a little nervous about the thought. Still, as much as I tried to hold myself back, I couldn't resist the temptation of turning on my side to get a better glimpse of her. Gingerly, I took hold of the blanket. No, Takahiro, neither a gentleman nor a hero takes advantage of a sleeping lady. And yet, who am I kidding? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In the end, the perverted little devil within me won the morality struggle, and with the shaking hands, I tried to lift the blanket. Stop! Yikes! I don't want any blackberries. White as the very sheets I was lying on, my heart pounded even louder than ever. Without a word, I dropped the blanket. She was still dreaming, mumbling away in her sleep, but she had scared the living daylights out of me. She doesn't look like she's under the covers to me, honestly. After a while, Mako returned and deposited my now dry clothes on my lap. She smiled at me and lingered for a few moments as if expecting me to begin changing. Oh, of course, the soup. I'll get it now, but don't change slowly, okay? I'd hate for me to sneak a peek. I don't think guys spend as much time changing as girls. Wait, were you planning to peek on me? I occurred to me that perhaps Mako was more like her sister than I had first assumed. She's perv. It sure sounds like you know what you're talking about, Takahiro. And, well, I might have been thinking about it. I'm kind of curious about the difference between us foxes and you humans. Like, it was amazing how easily you carried Sis out of the water. Is it because you're human? Actually, I think it's because I'm a guy. Sexism! JK. We tend to be stronger than girls, not to mention I practice judo almost every day. It would be embarrassing if I couldn't carry a girl. Judo? Judo. Judo. It's a sport of sorts, although it's also used for self-defense. And that's why you saved her? Because of this judo? Well, that's not really it. Ultimately, saving a damsel in distress hinges on a man's pride. No, can't I see it? Your pride? And just what exactly are you looking for, little sister? Honey-sama! I wasn't, you're wrong! The soup is cooking, I need to tend to it! The younger girl scrambled to her feet and dashed out of the room at full speed, her tail comically hanging in between her legs as she did. I turned to Machiko. With a faint blush on my face, averting my eyes so she could pull the sheets back up around herself. I see you're finally awake, Machiko-san. With you two making such a fuss over Chudo and soup, how could I possibly get any sleep? I'm glad to see that you're well, Taka-kun. Kun. Forgive me for taking such measures. I feared that it wasn't getting warm fast enough, and I did what I thought was necessary. At least it was more enjoyable sleeping with you than you would have had in the cell. I doubt the tsundere tyrant, was it? I doubt she would have gotten you the same service. Give me the same service? Shut up. Let's just say the hospitality was much appreciated. Glad to hear that. If you would like to change, there's a screen just over there. I promise I won't look, of course. I guess one of us has to do it. I watched Machiko close her eyes, hiding her face in her hands as if to reassure me that she wouldn't peek. Taking my chance, I climbed out from under the blanket and made my way towards the wooden screen. Once I reached it, I quickly began changing. If you could be so kind to do me a favor, Taka-kun, my robes should be upon the dresser behind you. Could you pass them to me, please? It would speed matters up greatly. Aha, sure, give me a second. After looking around a moment, I found the robes neatly folded up in the dresser. My heart skipped a beat as I took a hold of them before turning towards the screen to hand them over. Say, Machiko-san, how come you two walk around stealing people's underwear? I mean, you don't look like bad people to me. Well, it's complicated. Mako was researching a spell she had wanted to perform, one that would allow us easier access to certain things we need, and one of the ingredients was a maiden silk. The only silk I could think of was, well, you already know the answer. By maiden silk, you mean, I guess I understand why you would think that, but isn't maiden silk another term for a wedding sash? It is in my world, at least. As I said this, the girl appeared from the other side of the screen. I never realized. What's that, Oni-sama? A maiden silk. It's a wedding sash. All our work was for naught. Oh, well, at least the wedding sash would be easier to get. I just have to marry Taku-kun. What? A few minutes later. ... All the dots. Oh, there's a quick save option. I'm gonna use that. After that little incident, we relocated to the kitchen. The smell of food filled the air. Despite the younger girl's easygoing attitude, always humming some cheerful melody, I found my cheeks still burning from the embarrassment. To think that girl would say such a thing. I quickly shook my head to clear the thoughts from my mind as she turned towards the elder sister. Oh, it must be talking about the marriage. This soup is delicious. Is Mako-chan usually the one doing the cooking around here? Yeah, I'm glad you like it, Takehiro. Yeah, the last one they couldn't cook for crap. I'm glad they can cook in this game. I don't usually cook, so I made a few lucky guesses. It is rather delicious, Mako-chan. Perhaps you can do more of the cooking from now on. It would allow me more time to lounge around. Well, the first step to getting your wedding sash is to become a good housewife, and that includes cooking. So get back in the kitchen, I guess. I add this with a bit of amusement following Machiko's commitment. I took another sip of the soup. For a few lucky guesses, this dish had turned out pretty well. That's true. I'll learn how to clean, and I'll cook for you, and I don't know what else, but it'll be fun learning. Mako, you should stop that. You know very well it would be pointless for you to marry him. Only the villagers know how to craft wedding sash. We both know this will not happen. That's not necessarily true, Machiko. It only becomes ever more evident that you are not of this world, Taka-kun. The villagers do not tolerate our existence. They despise us. We could never ask such a favor for them. All we have to do is to find some way to make the villagers accept you. But I guess I'll need to learn more about the village itself before I can do that. Or we can do that. The pale-haired woman shook her head slowly, her ears flattening against her head as she did. It's not that simple. They would never trust us. Humans and fox spirits have never been able to get along. I'm honestly surprised that you were able to tolerate us this long. I would be happy to be proven wrong, but you are free to stay here as long as you wish until, of course, you two grow weary of our ways and decide to leave. Oni-sama, please don't say things like that. Takahiro wouldn't do that. Would you, Takahiro? Hiro? I don't know. Of course not. I wouldn't abandon someone just because they're different species. That's not the way Goshuken Takahiro does things. Gai Daigoji! Do you guys even know what that is? Gai Daigoji's a real hero. However, I do remember the village elder telling me that it wasn't just the fox spirits. It sounded like humans and spirits everywhere have been on bad terms for a long time. Do you know why, Machiko-san? I do not recall. Much information is withheld even from someone such as myself. Most spirits keep themselves these days. There are a few expectations. Tsuyuri being one of them. Powerful spirits come and go as they please, but they tend to remain in their world. Fox spirits, however, have no place to go. We are stuck in the human world for better or for worse. Huh? I didn't realize it was like that. I guess I'm finally learning stuff. Well, this Tsuyuri character lives in the shrine, right? We should try asking her for some ideas. No. We don't need to go see her. Absolutely no. No. I don't want to see her. I don't want to. I was somewhat taken back by Machiko's sudden childish way of speaking. It reminded me of the times I had been told to go visit the doctor when I was younger, complaining and throwing tantrums along the way. But isn't she the one that can help us? I refuse to go. Tsuyuri is a friend, and I dislike the idea of spending even a... She's a friend? I dislike the idea of spending even a second in her presence. She can't be that bad, can she? Besides, if anything happens, I'll protect you. Fine, if it really means that much to you, I will attempt to lead you to the shrine again, but you will enter the grounds alone. I don't want to go anywhere near that place. You will be on your own, Taka-kun. Can I come, Oni-sama? Absolutely not. I forbid it. You are not allowed under any circumstances, Mako. Fine, I'll stay here just like you said. I'll be here in the mansion. All alone, unprotected, all by myself. You know what might happen to me? I could get trapped under a bookcase and die. Or slip on a banana peel and die. Or get bored and die of boredom. It'd be so super duper bored sitting here all alone in the same place day in and day out. Fine, I get it, you can come along, but you must be on your best behavior, little one. No running around and no talking unless spoken to. Okay. Despite Mako's cheerfulness, I couldn't help but wonder what had happened between Machiko and this Tsuyuri for her to react so strongly. I decided that maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to spend some time with the two sisters to get to know them a little better. Well, I do have 2 weeks until I need to get back to my own world, so there's really no need to rush. How about we do something else instead? I'm sure Machiko-san wouldn't mind the distraction. Well, the longer I get to stay away from that place, the better. How about bringing Mako-chan along to fetch some desserts for us? There are oranges, apples, a small vineyard behind the mansion. I could whip up some cream to go with it, if you'd like. Sure, that sounds easy enough. Let's get some delicious fruit, Mako. All right. As Mako led me towards the garden of the impressive mansion, she seemed a little quiet, as though she had something on her mind. I wanted to ask her about it, but something about the way her ears sagged and her tail swung low told me that it probably wasn't the best idea. I decided I would simply try to cheer her up. So, which do you prefer, Mako? Apples, grapes, or oranges? We could gather all three, but I bet we could grab a few for ourselves first. Apples, I guess. I knew a fox spirit once, a friend of Oni-sama, who loved apples. I can't remember her name though. I guess my head's a bit hollow. Apples are awesome. Crunchy, roll. Crunchy on the outside and sweet on the inside. And your head isn't hollow, silly. If that was true, I think I'd still be stuck in that jail cell. Oni-sama did most of the thinking though. I just sort of went along with what she said. Well, someone has to take the lead. Besides, I'm grateful for your help all the same. How about... I playfully flicked Mako's forehead with a grin. See, it doesn't sound hollow at all. I'm sure there are plenty of clever thoughts in that pretty little head of yours. Oh, meanie. Now, you know I'm right at least. However, let's get those supplies, shall we? Okay, I'll get them. You go grab the basket over there. All right, let's get down to business. Feeling hyped, I went to grab one of the baskets stacked nearby and returned to Mako, who had started climbing one of the trees. The girl looked accustomed to climbing, but her small hands had me a bit worried. Hanging from the branch with just her legs, she checked to see if the apples were ripe. Mako, be careful, you might slip. Ow! The girl had thrown an apple at me, and while my reflexes let me catch it with ease, the force behind it still stung my palm a little. Of course, I did exaggerate a bit for the girl. Ha! It'll be fine, Takakun. I've been climbing these trees all my life. Even the most experienced climbers end up running into trouble if they aren't careful. I smiled weak at the girl's excited attitude. Placed the apple I caught into the basket. You know what you're thinking? You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a fox spirit. I won't fall. I'm super careful. Watch. I'll grab the apples near the top. Wait. Mako, unless you can fly, I don't think you should go for those. Fly? I can't do that, silly Taka-kun. Who's ever heard of flying fox spirit? As expected, the moment Mako tried to reach for one of the apples near the top of the tree, the girl ended up losing her footing and tumbled down towards the ground with a loud cry. Mako! My reflexes quickly kicked themselves into gear, trying to catch the girl before she hit the ground. Reflexes, because judo. Unfortunately, I did not notice the apples scattered around the tree, and as a result, ended up tripping over them. I managed another few steps and was able to catch Mako before I dropped to the ground. Oh yeah, the black screen's gonna be something good. My head was throbbing. Once I had recovered from the fall, I tried to sit up, but I found myself held down by a small but substantial weight. Oh yeah! Sorry, I lost myself in the tits. I mean, story. story. I'm here for the story. Opening my eyes, I looked up to see Mako sitting on my lap. Owie, I guess I tried to reach a bit too far. Thank you, Takahiro. You saved me, and you gave me a soft, well, kinda soft hard landing. But Mako, John, do you mind you're crushing me? Oh my gosh! Takahiro, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. As the younger girl grew increasingly frustrated, I knew how to calm her down. Gently, I tilted my leg beneath her, and she toppled forwards, her head resting against my chest. I guess we've learned that fox spirits can be pretty clumsy, or maybe that Mako is even cuter up close than what I had thought. I'm smooth. What, Takahiro? I think you're mistaking me for Oni-sama. Nope, I'm talking about you. You have that innocent side to you that's really charming. I wouldn't be surprised if lots of people from the village would want to claim you as their adorable little sister once we've cleared up these misunderstandings. I'd be happy to call you my brother, Takahiro, but lots of people in that village are super mean. I just want to spend time with you and Oni-sama. But brother? How about darling? Darling? I don't know if I'm ready for that. Really? I think would be a super cute couple, a hero with a fox spirit living happily ever after. Your sister could stay too. Man, I'm just, I'm a pimp. We could raise a little family. I mean, we already have a house, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. And any guy from my world would kill to have a pretty wife like you. I held back a chuckle, knowing all too well that my teasing was taking effect, and yet I was also happy to see her spirit seemingly lifted. Thank you, Taka-ni! I think Taka-kun would be better. Machiko probably wouldn't like another sibling, but I'm glad you've cheered up. You didn't seem too happy earlier. The way your tail and ears were hanging low reminded me of a scolded puppy. Huh? Oh, right. I was just thinking is all, about that spell I wanted to try, the one that needs the silky wedding undies. I wonder if the spell is for them to get married, Wedding sash is kind of like a belt that a bride wears during the wedding ceremony. I doubt any spell involving panties would be a good idea to cast. Oh, I thought it was like a wedding undies that you wear on your wedding night. Anyway, the spell, I don't know why, but I've wanted to try it for a little while now, and, well, it's a gate spell. Not like those temporary ones. Those are easy to make. A permanent one, like a portal to a different place. Probably what I'm going to need to go back home. It sounds interesting, but are you sure it's safe? Silly Taka-ni, that's not the point. This spell, it might be able to help you. Well, that's good and all. I prefer not ending up in the middle of a sea or a lava volcano. I think we should understand a bit more. I think we should be a bit more careful with your magic. I'm a good mage. That's what Harry said when we told Atlantis he had a solution to the water shortage. Thanks, Harry Potter? What was he talking about? Huh? What's Atlantis? A city with high ambitions sunk into the deep due to poor management. Anyway, I think it's for the best if we get an expert's opinion before we try anything. We're going to visit this Sayuri anyway, so maybe she'll be able to tell us if your spell will get me home. Well, but Su-chan told me that I shouldn't use magic at all. She said it was only for her to use or something. Maybe she had reasons for saying that. Like, maybe, I don't know. Do spells have any side effects? You're just like Oni-sama. She forbid me too, but I showed her that spells could be helpful and I could control them, so she let me do more research. I'm not going to throw spells around like they're nothing. I'm not a dumb little kid. I'm not going to do anything. Besides, you seem old enough to take care of yourself. Not that I know how old someone like you might be, but beware the dark side of magic, Harry. Luke. In most stories, magic usually comes with a price. Like, what would you do if magic gave you a terrible tummy ache, or headaches, or worse, diarrhea? While I'm staring at her boobs. Then you better prepare a gate spell to the nearest bathroom. I do get headaches, but those aren't really all that big of a deal. And I get to do a lot of things for Oni-sama. I'm not going to change that ever, so there. I already said I wasn't going to make you do anything. However, what you do need to change is the fact that you're still strangling me, and you're rather close, and I'd appreciate it if you could get off. Oh, you're so warm and soft. I could just curl up and sleep on you. Wait, don't go falling asleep on me. Just kidding. I wouldn't do something like that out here. Maybe tonight, though. It's only fair since Oni-sama got to do it, but more importantly, dessert. We need to get back inside. Oni-sama's probably wondering what's taking so long. I couldn't really argue with the girl's impeccable logic. With a smile, I helped the girl to her feet and gathered a few falling apples into the basket. We returned to Machiko and enjoyed our dessert together. It wasn't too long after that Mako started feeling sleepy, and Machiko took her to bed, wishing me good night. The next morning. ... I woke the next morning, the sun filtering through the wooden blinds, yawning loudly. The girls had very graciously given me an entire room to myself, and it was certainly a lot bigger than my room back home. It was still early in the morning, likely a bit before breakfast. I decided to spend the short moment to gather my thoughts. It was clear that in order to learn about my situation, I would need to pay a visit to the shrine. Maybe I could even find the answer to some other questions that had been lingering in the back of my mind for a while now. The fact that Machiko seemed surprisingly nervous at the mention of Sayuri's name made me wonder about their relationship. What could possibly have happened to make Machiko react like that? The apparent hostility between the villagers and the fox spirits was another issue altogether. Of course, I couldn't forget about the fact that I needed to find a way to get home as well. Just as I finished gathering my thoughts, Mako's voice resounded from the downstairs. Takani, breakfast is ready. Could you go get Oni-sama? Sure, we'll be right there. Quickly, I made my way out of the room, finding myself within one of the corridors of the mansion. Once outside, it didn't take me long to find Machiko wandering down the corridor, her lips curving into a smile when she saw me. No need to look for me, Taku-kun. Akiko's voice reached me loud and clear. Good morning, Machiko-san. Did you sleep well? It was a decent sleep, although perhaps a bit lonely, however. You seem to be getting along well with my little sister. Takani, was it? Perhaps I should consider you my rival in the quest for the heart of our dear Mako-chan. It seems like it. Bear hat. I guess I'll be stuck with that name for a while. Oh, is it not to your liking? Well, perhaps you prefer Darling instead. You were watching us? Indeed. It was taking you both such a long time. I grew rather curious and snuck out. But I didn't see you at all. Well, I am a fox spirit. Hiding myself from humans is like playing hide and seek with a child. Then why didn't you use your hiding skills to hide from the guards? Now that you mention it, the thought never occurred to me. Well, it certainly was fun getting chased by them. Unfortunately, Mako does not have the best control over her change. She is far too excitable and is unable to maintain the illusions. It was her one magical blind spot. I'm sure it wouldn't have been fun if the Sundari Tyrant had caught both of you. That certainly would have been an unpleasant experience. Then again, I'm sure you would have ended up saving me, wouldn't you, Taku-kun? I noticed a subtle change in Machiko's voice as the sweet sugar-coated words caused my cheeks to flush red. I really wasn't any good at dealing with this girl's flirty attitude. Stepping backwards, I turned towards the stairs at the end of the corridor and replied in a hurried tone. But Mako-chan is waiting for us. And with that, I rushed towards the kitchen, with Machiko giggling behind me as she followed. Good morning, both of you. I fixed up some eggs and toast for you. There's some oranges, too. Wonderful. Thank you, little one. You are getting better at this. That was hard to read for some reason. To wake up knowing a pretty girl made me breakfast, it's good to be alive. Perhaps you'd enjoy having one resting by your side as well. But that's a bit overkill, especially considering the condition of said girl. I recall the sight of Machiko sleeping yesterday, and my cheeks immediately grew red. I quietly sat down at the table, trying to distract myself by changing the subject. So thanks to you two, I learned a little about this world. How about I return the favor and talk about mine? Do you have anything you want to ask about? Oh yes, I want to know. What are the spirits like in your world? Spirits, you say? I thought about a question for a moment before I replied with a sheepish grin. Well, in my world, spirits only exist in folktales. They appear in stories, and certain religions even worship them. But it's not like we got them running around like they do in this world. Folktales? Worship? The world... folktales? Worship? Your world is strange, Taku-kun. Oh, that's kind of boring. What about your life? Are you a defender of your village? You said something about judo before. What's that? You mean judo? Well, in my world, people go to this place called school. It's basically a place of knowledge where you learn a lot of things before you're considered an adult in our society. But in my world, the defenders are known as the police. They keep things peaceful and such. I'm just a student. I guess you could say that I'm studying to become a defender, not just of my village, but of my whole country. It was a bit of an exaggeration, but it felt kind of nice to call myself a defender. That sounds weird. Is the hold easy? Like the army or something, defending the whole nation? Your world is very strange, Taku-kun. I wouldn't call it strange, Maku-san. It's this world that's weird, but no, the police is like the guards in the village. We do have an actual army that defends the country, though. Either way, your world sounds fun, especially if someone like you... If everyone's like you. Anyway, Oh, no, dang it! These oranges all have worms in them. Ew. No, I saw them, but did you forget to check them again? Oh, how terrible. I must have been overcome with fatigue and never gotten around to checking them properly. Big ol' lazy meanie! I'll just have to go and get some more apples instead. As Mako went outside to grab some apples, my eyes drifted towards Machiko, who was observing me with a content smile, clearly pleased with something. Uh-oh. It's such a relief to see her in such a good mood. It has been a tough few months, I must admit. She has been upset that her magical skills have not been progressing as fast as they once did. We all have our ups and downs, especially when it comes to studying. I still remember how I used to dread exams. So little time for my judo, but it made me rather sad. It made me sad at times. That sounds rather stressful. Tell me, Taku-kun, what is it that you study? I'm intrigued by this school notion. Well, my situation is a bit different than most. While I go to school like everyone else, I actually aim to become an athlete. To explain in a way that you'd understand, an athlete is someone who practices a certain sport. That is, I hope she understands sport. And those who are among the best end up representing their country. I have an upcoming tournament that will decide whether or not I will be able to represent my country in judo. I think I understand. Your focus is on your strength, while still gathering knowledge to allow yourself a multitude of options. An interesting method. I should thank you. I guess you could say it like that, but why thank me? I believe that your sudden appearance in our world has a lot to do with Mako's newfound joy. I can hear her singing, something I have not heard in weeks. It warms my heart to see her so overjoyed, and I believe it's because of you. Thank you, Taku-kun. I doubt that's the only reason, but you're welcome. I smiled bashfully at Machiko before continuing. Then again, I should also thank you for busting my rear out of jail. I don't want to think about what would have happened. Can't read now. I don't want to think about what I've been doing if I was still in the care of the Sundari tyrant. Haha, you are most welcome, but please, not be so hard on Mio-chan. There are many things here beyond her control. But perhaps man, I really can't read now. I'm like losing it because I'm enjoying my foot rub from a massager here. Let me turn it off. There we go. But perhaps it is out of our hands for now. I still wish to thank you, Taku-kun. I've been wondering how I might repay you for bringing such joy to Maku-chan. Repay me? For a moment, my thoughts drifted towards a certain idea, but my cheeks quickly turned scarlet red at the thought. I couldn't ask something like that of her. I'm not sure I have anything in mind. I think your smile is enough. You are a true gentleman, Taku-kun. It's a shame, though. I was thinking of such naughty things, too. The fox spirit giggled to herself as she turned towards the garden, watching Mako struggle to descend from one of the trees with an armful of apples. Mako-chan! There are only 3 of us. You better... Your belly does not count for a 4th person. Speaking of a 4th person, it sounded like you two used to talk a lot with the spirit at the shrine. Why do you get so nervous when this Sayuri is involved? That's not important. Oh, it's a giant bird carrying the seed. Oh, is that a giant bird carrying the seed of the world tree? Oh, maybe it is. I should go and... sorry, Dono. Thank you for your visit today. Wait. Sayuri Dono, thank you for visiting us today. Maku-chan is right over there. I'm sorry. I've just been terribly busy. Please forgive me, Sayuri-sama. Whoa, to think you get that flustered. Is she that amazing of a person? You don't understand it. It's complicated. There are certain skills that I, as a fox spirit, possess. A subtle way of taking or acting that influence how people perceive me. They are, I suppose the word would be considered social skills, but for spirits, Sayuri is capable of completely negating these, and it leaves me feeling rather nervous and helpless. I see, so basically she's immune to your flirting, and connecting the dots in my mind, I planted the palm of my hand against my forehead. Now I get it. You're afraid of Now I get it. You're afraid of You are afraid of approaching her because this Sayuri is a bigger flirt than you. But if she's flirting with you... Oh, I see. You swing that way. For some reason, I felt rather disappointed. That's not true. Well, maybe, I mean, she has an overpowering presence, and it does not allow me to properly do my thing, but I'm not what you mean by swinging, however. It means that you know, like girls? Oh, really? Well, how about I forget about this Sayuri for now, and I'll show you exactly which way I do swing, Taika-kun. That won't be necessary, but she must be quite a challenge to deal with, considering. I briefly lowered my voice to whisper. You're already a handful to deal with once you start teasing. Haha, you are perhaps less the gentleman I thought you to be, Taika-kun. What am I then? A lovable rogue, perhaps? Or maybe you see yourself as more of a hero type. Of course I'm a hero. A perverted one, but a hero nonetheless. Oh, man. Oni-sama! Welcome back, Mako-chan. How'd the hunt for the golden apple go? Heh, no golden ones, but I got a load of good ones, even ones that are shaped like a heart. You can have that one, Taki. An apple shaped like a heart. Interesting. Does this mean you're confessing your love to me by giving me this? Heh, maybe I am. I seriously think Ichikawa would kill me if he saw me in my current situation. Why, thank you, fair lady. I shall savor every moment of this sweet flavor. Mako, how could you betray your love of me? Your one and only sister. Did our time together mean nothing? Oh my. But I love you too, Oni-sama. I found a super big apple for you. Polygamy at its finest. Well, we better hurry up to go see Su-chan. Wait, I thought you would at least need to ask for her permission and wait until she grew bored enough to reply. I know, but I was picking apples. I found one of her tiny familiars. She said she wanted to see us today. Oh, poopy. ... And that's enough for today. I hope you enjoyed this little story. I'm such a pervert. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday. We'll see you guys in the next episode. And stay toasty, my friends.